Hi, this is Mato. In this video I will show you the game between Magnus Carlsen and Arkady Naiditsch. This is the game from Chess Olympiad that was played in Norway in 2014. Magnus Carlsen is representing Norway and Naiditsch is representing Germany. Carlsen started with d4. Naiditsch played knight to f6, c4, e6, knight to c3, and Naiditsch played bishop to b4, Nimzo-Indian defense, knight to f3, c5, g3. This is the most popular move. e3 is the second most popular move in this position. We have g3, Naiditsch castled kingside, bishop to g2, so we are just following the main line. C takes on d4, knight takes on d4, d5, c takes on d5, knight takes on d5, queen to b3, knight to c6, knight takes knight, pawn takes knight, Carlsen castled kingside, queen to a5. It is white to move. Bishop to d2 is the most played move in this position. Carlsen played knight to e4, bishop to a6, attacking the pawn on e2, queen to c2 defending, and perhaps intending knight to g5. So Naiditsch played h6, taking control of g5 square, a3 attacking the bishop, bishop to e7, b4 attacking the queen, queen to b5, threatening queen takes pawn on a2, rook to e1, queen to c4, queen to b2. So Carlsen didn't want to exchange queens. If queen takes queen, bishop takes, bishop to b2, bishop to b5, about equal. So we have a queen to b2, and now c5. Getting rid of weak pawn, sacrificing the pawn. Knight takes on c5, bishop to f6, attacking the queen and the rook on a1, queen to a2, black to move. What would you do? I think the first move that comes to mind is bishop takes rook. But Naiditsch played rook from a to c8. Why he didn't take the rook? Let's have a look why. One line goes like this: bishop takes rook, queen takes bishop, and let's say that black would play rook from a to c8, then bishop to b2, threatening bishop takes on g7, f6, e4, and after knight to e7, bishop to f1, and white is winning. So in this position Naiditsch showed very good judgment and didn't capture the rook. He played rook from a to c8, e4, knight to c3, queen takes queen, bishop takes queen, e5 attacking the bishop, bishop to e7, bishop to d2 attacking the knight, knight to e2 check, king to h1, knight to d4, rook from a to c1. After 25 moves have been played, Carlsen is standing better. Carlsen is also a pawn up. The game continued. Bishop to d5, bishop takes bishop, pawn takes bishop, knight to d7, rook takes rook, rook takes rook, rook to d8 attacking the knight, knight to c5, Bishop takes on c5, rook takes on c5, knight to f3, attacking the bishop, bishop to c3, black to move. What would you do in this position if you had black pieces? Naiditsch played g5, very important move. The pawn is coming to g4 to protect the knight. h3, h5, king to g2, g4. And now the knight on f3 turned into a dragon. b5. This is a very interesting position. Have a look at this rook on d8 and the king on g2. Just imagine, this is a funny thing, funny scenario. Just imagine that Carlsen leaves his seat to make a cup of coffee, and Naiditsch coughs and removes the pawn on d5. Then his rook would come to d1 and after that to g1, checkmate. So this is extremely uncomfortable position for white. We have a rook to d7, rook to c8 check, king to h7, bishop to a5, d4, black knight on f3 was very annoying to Carlsen, and perhaps as a result of that Carlsen was burning lots of time on his clock. H takes on g4, h takes on g4. In time trouble, Carlsen played e6, a bad move. Better is rook to c7, and after rook takes rook, bishop takes rook. We have e6, pawn takes pawn, rook to c7 now, rook takes rook, bishop takes rook. It is black to move. What would you do? Are you worried about these two pawns coming to b6? Naiditsch played the best move, d3, king to f1, knight to d4, threatening d2, and the pawn can't be stopped. So Carlsen played king to e1, knight takes on b5, forking the bishop and the pawn, bishop to b8, knight takes on a3, king to d2, a5, king takes on d3, king to g6, king to e4, a4, bishop to e5, knight to c4. Threat is knight takes bishop, bishop to c3, a3, king to f4, attacking the pawn on g4, king to h5, f3, black to move. What would you do? Naiditsch again played the strongest move, e5, king to e4, black to move again. What would you do now? I think pawn takes pawn comes to mind, but Naiditsch again played the strongest move, knight to d6, check, and Carlsen played king to e3. If, for example, king takes pawn on e5, then g takes on f3, the threat is pawn to f2, after bishop to e1, a2, and after bishop to c3, f2. Okay, so in the game we have king to e3, king to g5, f takes on g4, e4, king to d2, knight to b5, attacking the bishop, bishop to e5, king takes pawn on g4, king to e3, king to f5, bishop to a1, knight to d6, defending the pawn so black king can go to g4, king to d2, king to g4, king to e3, a2, bishop to c3, king takes pawn on g3, black is 2 pawns up, bishop to a1, king to g4, king to d2. If, for example, bishop to c3, then king to f5, and after bishop to a1, knight to c4 check, king to e2, knight to a5, the knight is coming to b3. For example, king to e3, knight to b3, bishop to c3, pawn is promoted to queen, bishop takes, knight takes. So in the game we have king to d2. Black played the move and white resigned. The move is king to f3. Carlsen resigned. In view of this continuation, king to e1, e3, king to f1, e2 check, king to e1, and now this is just one of the possible knight moves. Knight to b7, the knight is coming to b3. Let's say that white would play bishop to b2, then knight to c5, king to d2, knight to b3, king to e1, pawn is pushed, promoted to queen, bishop takes, knight takes, and after king to d2, king to f2. That is why Carlsen resigned in this position. Naiditsch played his endgame very accurately, didn't he? What do you think of this game? And that is all. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I wish you good luck with your chess and bye for now.